Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours, brother Red Pill, reporting live and direct in the building. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. First and foremost, I want to remind the family that on Sunday, March 27th at 11 p.m., we are going to be presenting to you a powerful workshop that has been, the time of it is so excellent. You know what I mean? This thing has been in the works for a few months already. I am proud to present to you our good brother in Cairo, and he is going to be presenting the power of precious metals. All right. That is going to be exclusively only on KTLUniversity.com. We go through Zoom. You don't have to worry about Eventbrite or anything of such to nature. You don't have to worry about an email link being sent to you. As soon as you buy the ticket, you'll have access to this workshop that starts tentatively at 11 a.m. Eastern. All right. Tonight, we're going to be bringing to you the 44 God himself, Brother Blue Pill. He will be in the building with the Law 44 War Report. You done
to
know.
this day.
All right.
To this day.
And that is coming up on 4/4/22. All right. 4/4/4. So we are going to bring the brother on, and he is going to do what he does. And that is drop those metaphysical bombs and whatnot. All right. Yes, indeed. Peace to the family. Let's get the family in the building. I'm going to let y'all warm up, get the family in the building while we wait for our special guest to pull up. Okay, there you go. It was acting funny a minute ago. So while we wait for everybody to fill in there, we're going to pay some bills and do some commercials, and we will be right back.
Greetings, I'm horologist in Karoo. Greetings, I'm horologist in Karoo.
To this day.
Greetings, I'm horologist in Karoo.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do the roll call. Let's do the roll call. Peace to the family that's out there. Peace to everybody in the audience. Let's go ahead and do this roll call. I want everybody to tap in. Let me know where you're tapping in from, and then we will open up the line and bring our guest of the evening in the building. Okay. So we got Montgomery in the house. Peace to Montgomery, Alabama. But you in Boston. Salute to Boston. South Carolina in the building. Low Country. Shout out to my Geechee Gullah family. Compton in the building. Salute to Compton. Harlem in the building. Shout out to Harlem. Okay. Wagwan, UK. Wagwan across the Mandem. San Francisco in the building. Yes, San Fran. Yes, we are live. This is live and direct. Brooklyn. All right. But you in NC. I see you. Okay. Fort Smith. All right. Arkansas. Salute to the Arkansas. NYPA. Maryland. From Newburgh to Charlotte. Everybody's in the Carolinas. Carolina's got to be lit because everybody went there. Colorado in the building. Shout out to Colorado. Chicago on the south side. Louisiana. Salute to the Louisiana peoples. All right. All right. The Coke Queen says, salute, King. Yes, salute, Coke Queen. How are you? I see you. Houston in the building. Okay. Shout out to Houston. Shout out to H Town. Shout out to Dallas Fort Worth. Shout out to Dallas. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody at South by Southwest. Miami up in this thing. Okay. Jacksonville is up in this thing. I see you. Chicago is in this thing. Salute. Como, Texas. All right now. I don't think I ever heard of that. This is a first. Upstate South Carolina. There's an upstate South Carolina. Okay. That's what's up. El Paso by way of Charleston. This is it's just a Carolina event tonight, I guess. DC in the building. Prosper, Texas in the building. ATL up in the stein. Shout it. Rock on. ATL in the building. Okay, okay. So yeah, SC is always it, right? SC is always in the building. That's something that I could definitely count on. If nobody show up, if it's 5 people that ever show up, 4 of them is gonna be from the Carolinas, man. I don't know what's going on out there, but I gotta revisit. You know what I mean? I passed through there quickly a few months ago. I was able to just charge the grid up briefly and whatnot, but I'm definitely planning on returning and with some company and whatnot this summer. Shout out to Ross Ben. There's conversations about the Franklin Gym Show that's taking place in July, but we're also in negotiations about doing something to teach the people out there about the grid, about the mounds, a lot of the buried history and whatnot, because those dry bones in the Carolinas are definitely crying out. Sacred land. Keep that in mind. Very, very sacred land. Okay. Jersey in here, Denmark in here, Greenville in here. Okay, Walton in here. Choctaw Nation. Yeah, you already know. Oklahoma. Some famous all right, so we at 100 people. All right. Salute to everybody in the building. Salutations and everything. You already know what it is, but we are not going to waste any time. This is a Friday night. I know that people have things to do. So we're going to get right to it. Okay. So without any further ado, I'm going to open up the line for my co-host tonight, my guest, none other than the other half of the twin pillars, my good brother, your brother, our brother, Blue Pillar. All right. Pillars are finished.
Peace, peace.
To this day. To this
To the
day.
family.
Yeah, get your wand.
Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours. Brother Blue Pill, live and direct.
Yes, indeed.
Get
To the
some
blue pillar.
some drip in this camera.
Indeed.
Peace, God.
Bree, did you hear what I was talking about a minute ago about the Carolina family? How overwhelming, the support that we always have been. I mean, before I started doing roll call, I remember just orders like packages being sent out to the Carolinas. I remember the Blog Talk Radio days. It was heavy Carolina energy. Do you have any hypothesis as to why we the Carolinas tap in with us so hard?
Well, even when you talk about the moorlands, right? When you talk about the actual family, the tribe, the bloodline is gonna go into Virginia and more so regions of like Southern Virginia, and that spills into the Carolinas. But we've always resonated with Carolina energy. We've had many transformational experiences,
Very much so.
in the Carolinas from early on even till now. There's things that we're doing that are deeply rooted in that region. So there's an ancestral connection, that I feel that the course and runs through that particular area. And
Yeah, when I went to Charleston, I felt it very, very, very strong. I went to Angel Oak to the tree, like I was up in there, and I felt that ancestral energy running through me. You know what I mean?
yeah, like I had an experience on Clubhouse the other day, and I really got to learn the difference that you can't speak tribes around Moors and you can't speak Moors around tribes. So there's a very delicate distinction and a very delicate balance, right? Where you have to be tethered to the land, and a lot of people are taking more energy and more pride in saying I belong to this particular patch of land or this landmass or this tribe, but they don't say enough about their relationship with the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you doing ceremony? You know what I'm saying? Are you tending to the land? Do you have a
Right.
relationship with the land? Are you getting information from the land? Do you eat from the
Right.
land? Do you tend to the land? Do you care for the land? You know what I'm saying? Do you rest on the land? Do you step on the land? You know, and we overlooking those things, but again, there's a lot of tribalism that's always taking place in every community, it seems. That's something that's consistent with our people.
If my memory serves me correct, that it
But
was tribalism that led to the loss of the land
yeah, but nonetheless,
ultimately.
nonetheless, people's lineage, their history, um, their claims, their records, everything that they stand on is still to be respected. And
Right.
those families know that that is under family names, that's under tribal names, that's under treaties and what have you. So you know there's a lot to be learned, so people are not necessarily violating one another even with the language, because the language is weaponized. Excuse me. But yeah, we got love all through those regions, you know what I'm saying, as family. And my thing is, yeah, that's what connects everywhere that we go through the South that feels like home and it feels familiar. Because if you have a relationship to the land of this entire land mass, Earth itself, you know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna feel that connection. You're gonna feel that resonance. You know, and that's really like the end all be all. There's so many ways to get around to that when we
Right.
go through these conversations and we talk about what's taking place and what's going on. Where we're gonna ultimately end up, our final destination in these conversations, I'm always gonna bring you back to the fact that if you find the perfect balance in nature, that is the way out is in, right? That's gonna be
Right.
the most fanciful way that I'm gonna summarize this shit. I'm gonna give you, I could give you 444 million 44s to get back to that fact that the only way out is in. And there's gonna be
Right.
an external war and there's gonna be an internal war, right? But we are officially now in the age of war.
We are
So
officially in the age of war.
we are in the age of war, yes.
Okay. And please explain how that age came about.
How did that
Because I
age?
have my hypothesis. You want to hear it?
Of course, yes.
My hypothesis is on March the 13th in the calendar year of 2020 would qualify or go down as 0 year. Some
Mm-hmm.
people say March 11th. I would say March 13th because I will identify that day as the day that I began to look around and feel
Mm-hmm.
that something was upon us, right? I heard about things prior to that in January. There were rumblings
Right.
of an invisible enemy and things of that nature would be considered, biological warfare or biogenetics and things of that nature. I was like, okay, I see what's being cooked up, but it was until March the 13th that I felt that shit reverberate through my essence.
Mm-hmm.
And I quickly saw my environment. I was in the Bronx. Um, at that point, I was already kind of like not going outside. You know what I mean? I had already converted to doing the unthinkable, and that's stay inside when you live in New York City for more than one day and you're not sick, you're not injured, and you're not running from anybody. Like, that's almost a sin to
Right.
not get on a hamster wheel in New York City and not
Right.
be amongst all of the people that are waking up, basically spending $100 just by walking outside to make a few other $100. I
Yeah.
divorced myself from the hamster wheel and I kind of just was in the crib doing, online work.
Right.
And I would say that that was year zero, right? Because the Great Reset is not just about the economics and things of that nature. It's not just about the financial markets. It's not just about clean energy and things of that nature. The Great Reset is the Great Reset. And I feel that they juxtapose their Great Reset on top of a cosmic Great Reset. And when that day occurred, that's when war was declared. Because keep in mind the verbiage that Trump was using, and also the legislation that got passed and whatnot, all speak about a war. Wartime acts were passed. They declared a pandemic, which basically clears, a lot of the pre-existing laws that are protecting the people and things of that nature, whatever. So fast forward to where we are today on February the 23rd, turn that around, that's 322, right? Or 223. That's when we saw the provocations for a physical conflict, even though there were other physical conflicts that were also taking place. This one would be considered more of the major one, and that, of course, would be Russia and Ukraine. But that's just my theory. If you have more that you wanted to add on, please.
Well, I mean, everything that you said is right and exact. And, you know, what I have to offer is just the receipts for that to say, if I'm tracking this narrative using this algorithm, right, called 44, which to me, let's say in some respect, it means time, but in other respect, it also ultimately means war because it's Mars. It stands for blood and it stands for war. It's Aries, it's Mars,
Right.
right? But it also is Aquarius. So now we're looking at the Aquarius Aries cross or axis, right? Which says what? The age of Aquarius is also the age of war, right? And that's the particular place that we're at, as above, so below. But need we remind people, like Son just said, war been declared and they have gone through different militaristic steps of declaring different aspects, layers, and levels of it. And
Right.
that initially it started on the people, and then it was hyper focused to a select group of people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. There was a
And
culling.
yeah, there was a
It took
lulling,
place. Hold on, I don't
and
want
then
to
there
cut your
was a
wisdom.
culling, right?
I will go on record to say, Blue, that the pre-existing conditions that many people found themselves under when this occurred or when this fell upon them, those pre-existing conditions were exasperated during pre the pre rollout to war, when it was a soft war on people who looked like us through police terrorism and other provocations during the quote unquote end of the Obama era, going into the Trump era and whatnot. So a lot of people were under immense stress. A lot of people were under
But again, right,
immense fear. A lot of people's organs were failing them as a result of being inundated constantly with snuff films, trauma, no
right.
justice, no peace, and all of these other
Well,
things. It raises the blood pressure. It helps with the heart disease. It speeds up the cancer. But go ahead.
yeah.
But
So
hold
my
on.
thing is,
I'm sorry. And then during the first 2 years, you saw a culling of the people, meaning that the weak were cut, right? They cut off the weak. They cut the people who could not basically make it past this imaginary line that was drawn in the sand. And those people were called. But please go ahead.
so once again, everything that you're saying is right and exact, you know. And again, the only thing that I'm offering is the backdrop and the narrative to it because for me, this is the forever ending story. I've been telling this story forever and a day. So when I was back in 2014 explaining the tetrad blood moons, I was speaking specifically to what? I said they're doing ritualistic, lunar based rituals that are impacting melanated blood. Specifically, look at the rituals. Maybe you can't see it with the naked eye, but here, I'm going to lay it out for you, right? So the first blood moon came in on April 15, 2014. And that's the day that they put the porno out for Mimi or for Love and Hip Hop, right? She
Yes, it
was
was.
44 years old at the time. You know what I'm saying? She was 44 years old at the time. And I think she said something about, she was under wild stress because she was on her time of the month when that attack came. So here the whole world go focusing on her box, right? Where all of that blood is conducted, and they're focusing on her porno during a blood moon, right? And all of these evangelical authors are writing about this time period, about how important it is to do ritualistic practice to protect you from your enemies on astral levels. And then what is it? Uh, I forgot the gentleman, Paul Hagee, I think his name was, who wrote the book, and he explained the
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 Blood Moon
the
book, right?
periods of tribulation during these blood moons for Israel, you know, and how to them they have to be on the offense and not the defense this time. You feel me? And then the next blood moon came on October 8th. It was 10:08, and that was the first day that a melanated man got the Ebola. Right? It was an African brother. He was in Dallas.
Mm.
That was on 10:08, and then the next blood moon dropped on April. Right? The next blood moon dropped on April 4th. It was on a Saturday. That's the day that they shot the man in South Carolina in his back when he was running from the police, and they had it on camera. And then the fourth blood moon was when the Pope flew in at 4:04 p.m. into D.C. and went and seen Obama. Right? So all of these ritualistic periods, all of these the police brutality incidents were peaking during these time periods. It's almost like they were systematically breaking down the melanated immune system, the masculinity immune system, right? Because also during this time period, this was when Don Sterling launched his campaign, and it was a campaign of humiliation. And they went after the niggas with the biggest bag, because if that's the barometer for manhood in our community, I'm gonna
Right.
cut these Negroes at their knees first, right? Put little son, throw the doulas under the deodorant. You feel me? And then what they got left, right? And the only person at that time, symbolically, that was holding their nuts to them was Jay-Z, because it was him wearing the chain. It was on April 6th, sitting at a Nets game. He had the 5% chain, the flag on, and they ran a goddamn story about him in the New York Post,
The 7, right.
talking about,
That's when the
yo, if this
speculation
nigga's
began.
going woke, we in trouble. We got to do something about this, right? And then the Don Sterling shit happened right after that. So, you know, these are
What
like,
year are you taking us back to for the family and the audience who may not be
can't hear you.
aware of it?
Can't hear you.
I said, what year are you taking us back to, if for the audience who may not be aware of the timeline?
I'm gonna leave and come back.
Okay, let the brother come back in. He was having an audio issue. But can y'all hear me in the audience? Peace, brother in Cairo. I see you. Salute. Just let me know if my audio is good. Okay, y'all can hear me good. Awesome, awesome. Okay. So the brother will be right back. He just has to get his audio intact. Here we go. There
Yeah.
you go. Can you hear me clearly, Blue?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
Yes,
you
sir.
perfect.
I was saying to you, what was the year in question that you were building upon for the audience if they may not have been able to catch up to what year you were talking about? Was it 2017?
Um,
Or they're saying 2013 in the chat.
the blood moons was from 2014 to 2015.
Okay, so
Blood
2014.
moons, yeah. The blood moon was from 2014 to 2015. It's called the tetrad blood moon. It was 4 blood moons in a row.
Four.
You know what I'm saying? It was four
Right.
blood moons in a row. That was a long time ago. There's been mad rituals after that, but that's the ones that started this level of reverberation where they're breaking down this ethereal body politic, right?
Yes.
Of of masculated melanin energy that is there for protection of the nest of the golden goose. You feel me?
Yes,
And that
sir.
layer of protection, that firewall was not, it wasn't activated during, when the shit hit. There was no contingency plan, there was no backup plan, there was no advice, there was no one who, what I'm saying, necessarily, you know, took the leadership role that was expected to take the leadership role. You feel me? There was no redress. There was no nothing. So all the money in the world can buy a solution. All the money in the world can buy a failed attempt. Like niggas ain't even attempt, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So it's like shit been compromised. You know what I'm
You were
saying?
saying for the lack of preparation.
Not only lack of preparation, it's the complicity with the actors, like the people that you would expect would be there for relief, the people that you would expect to be there, with plans and operation and all sorts of other things that's expected, you feel me? To
Right,
mount
right.
on to or do something that's expected of government. Like having a contingency ready where you like, I'll never get caught in no Katrina shit again. We got people on deck that got boats. We got a coalition set up. We got a point to point system. We know where boats is all up and down the coast. That'll never happen again. It happened in Houston. Then it happened again. Then it happened again. You know what I'm
Right. It
saying?
happened in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it happened a few times after that.
Right.
So, you know, it's like there's been a lot of lulling and culling, you know what I'm saying? And then the thing that's been most affected is the memory and the ability to compartmentalize and see things for a bigger picture rather than bits and pieces, because you'll never be able to see the play all the way down the road if you can't see the whole scroll. You feel me?
Facts.
You got to be able to put this shit into a complete sentence. Like, what are you looking at? Do you know what you're looking at? Or do
Right,
you have
right.
an
And
idea?
I've said it on many occasions that the media perfects fragmentation, right? The media is even Hollywood, what they never do is they never tie anything together. Everything is fragmented. Everything exists outside of each other. All of these, they'll never do like a real thorough report where they're like, oh, the war in Ukraine stems all the way back from when they removed the president in 2014. You know what I mean? Like there's been political turmoil going on and provocation for many, 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 many years. But what they'll tell you is, oh, Vladimir Putin just feels like invading these countries just because he doesn't like democracy. And now we have this unprovoked attack. And they'll never give you anything. They won't give you the geopolitical narrative. They'll never give you the biblical ecclesiastical narrative. They won't give you anything.
Nah, nothing at all. All right. They're not gonna give you no backdrop. They're not gonna give you no soundtrack. They're not gonna give you no Blues Clues. They're not gonna give you nothing. They're gonna give you tonight's news, and that's that. They're gonna give you a
Right.
sound bite. They're gonna give you a morsel, and you are now predicating your decisions based on that. That's your outlook of the world. That shit is affecting your central nervous system. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's
Because
and the
media.
whole world is being held hostage by.
Right. 'Cause fragmented information creates fragmented thoughts, and it creates confusion and distraction amongst the people, because if you don't have the full picture, what the fuck do you have? If you don't understand the full narrative, you only understand, it's like walking into a movie and only seeing 10 minutes of it and then going home to write a review on it. You're not qualified to do that. So what the media has done expertly, right? And I'm talking social media, mainstream media, lamestream media, fake news, whatever you want to call it, because social media is fake news. It is the mainstream media because it's censored, and there's technology that's running this shit. There's algorithms or algorithms that are basically dictating through the major media, the new media outlets like Google, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth, so forth. They have everybody in a motherfucking echo chamber. They have everybody in corners where they want to put you in. They have everybody. I got 88,000 followers. I only see 800 people a day. I don't know who alive. I don't know who graduated. I don't know anything. You know what I mean? And they don't know shit about
But
me either,
let
because
me ask you.
of the
Let
80
me ask you
some
something.
thousand people that follow me, only about 8 could see me.
Let me ask you something though. Do you think it's even humanly possible to engage that many people in a day? Like, is it even? Is it even re? Is
Nah,
there? Is
well, what it
that
is I'm not following 88,000. They're following me and whatnot. So I think that it's humanly possible for 88,000 people to tap in and to see what one person is doing, the same way that 80 some odd million people will tap into a channel to watch a program. So that's possible. You know, um, hmm?
nice?
Yeah. So the danger in the news cycle, and this is very very new, Blue, when you think about it, because in 2012 and 13 and other times, it wasn't as filtered as it is now. It was a source of narrow. It was a source where you could get a full narrative via YouTube, Blog Talk Radio, early Facebook, where you could put up the statuses and you could put news reports up and things of that nature. People were actually taking their due diligence and speaking about what was going on and giving you the rundown. Now it's 1 minute TikToks, it's a 20-second to 30-second reel on Instagram. They've monetized everything and made it a business. So the consolidation of the information and the crunching of it is rewarded. There's a reward. There's a bag at the end of it. They're dangling a carrot and whatnot. So we went from 8-hour lectures that will basically iron everything out to 1 minute TikToks. And I'm here to say that, you know, I've watched some 1 minute TikToks that had me like, God
And
damn it. Like,
some niggas
they've
got,
been able to condense light
they
into a
got it.
1 minute motherfucking clip. And that shit has taught me some things.
Facts.
It's taught me some things. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will not hold you. However, you know, is it a telltale sign of where we are in this age of information? Is it, because I don't want to give anybody the credit that they don't deserve. What do you think?
You're asking me, is it a telltale sign?
I would say, is it a telltale sign of the times that we're in, being that we're in this Aquarian age and the consolidation of information going from when we were in the Piscean age, it was 12-hour, 8-hour, 6-hour, 4-hour
Yeah.
lectures.
The 240 character move changed the game already. The game's been changed in the several different ways.
Yes.
So it's shorter spurts of light. Everything is quantum. Things are moving up. There's the capacity to contain more information, but because think about 5G frequencies and how much shorter,
Distance.
bandwidth the cell towers are from one another. You got to move energy like that right now.
Right.
It got to be in bits. You know what I mean? It got to be
Facts.
qubits. So, you know, again, it's bit it's spurts. But if you electrify and energize the audience, they're gonna want more, and that's when they come to the longer, wave band of it.
Right.
You feel
Right.
me? And that's how you bring them upstream. So you gotta keep mindful, even when you building content. You gotta have them 1 minute hitters. You know what I'm saying?
Get
You gotta
right
have
to it.
15-second zinger. Yeah.
Right. Knock it out the park.
You gotta, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'll study reels. I'm like, okay, what can you pack into 30 seconds? What can you pack into a minute? This is still an art form at the end of the day. And you either gonna adapt like everything else, or you're gonna get moved out of the way.
Like
So,
Professor Cabo Kameni said,
like
the
like
survivors are the adapters.
yeah. Can you upload that audio to this channel, please?
Can I do what?
Can you upload the audio from that clubhouse to the YouTube?
Yes. I have to get an MP3 file.
Okay.
There's a file that Clubhouse has. It's not compatible with this platform, so I just have to convert it.
Okay.
But let me share
Yeah.
this with
But
the audience real quick because they may not know about our Clubhouse business. So, family, you know what I mean? For those of you who are on Clubhouse and you don't, you watch more than just the Whack 100 show, me and Blue Pill have a show on Clubhouse. It's titled The Netaverse. That is our room. It's the Netaverse. We have about, we're inching on 1,000 members at this point. We've done 4 shows already, and each one of those shows are classics. This show we just did on Wednesday is a certified bona fide classic. This one for the record books. Professor Cabo Kameni came through
super
and did
collegial,
what,
but very simplified as well. You know.
right. He did what master teachers do. He gave the family a plate of a 7-course meal, but he kept it simple enough to where a baby could eat that
Fact.
food. Right? As a professor, he has perfected the art of being able to teach 8-year-olds up to 80-year-olds. And he's
Facts.
able to he gave a lot of light. He gave a lot of hope. He gave, not, I don't even like using the word hope. He just gave some pills out to wake people up and to put them on a certain type of frequency that if they were not on it yet, they could definitely walk away from that with a full plate. So tap into the replays. The replays are available in the room. Go and sign up when you have the opportunity on Clubhouse and tap into the Netaverse.
Indeed. Yeah, he, top tier, top tier information, a top tier show with the additions, the fact that either him as a teacher, he was able to be in the audience as a student when some of the younger students of his became teachers. I mean, it was just amazing. You know what I'm saying? Highly recommended you tap into that
Super facts.
that 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 build,
Super duper
that
facts.
information. It was cosmic. The rise of the super sapiens. We was talking that talk. You know what I'm saying? And he came with it. He laid it out.
Right,
And
right. Indeed, indeed.
you know,
Somebody said I was there in Clubhouse. Dr. Cavo was going in at a level a child can understand and comprehend. Very powerful and sharp piece to the God. Dr. Cabo, great dialogue. Yes, yes, indeed.
absolutely.
We got to bring him into this into the visual realms as well. I would love for him
Follow up.
to be
Yeah.
one of our special guests on YouTube in the very, very near future. So we'll work on that, y'all. We'll definitely work on that. We will present the type of information that y'all could use for your edification, you know what I mean, for your journey, because that's what he's bringing. But real quick, Blue, let's talk about this modern day Law 44. Let's talk about the war report. Let's get into some of the specifics about what's taking place on 4/4, April 4th. That's your day right there, my good brother. You gotta celebrate with you.
Again,
You've been on that 44. You've been opening up portals forever.
yeah. At the onset in the beginning of this year, I definitely knew that it was going to be a 44 year. I cataloged all of last year as a 44 year, and this year has not failed. So, and as I always do around this time, even if I want to sit on the sidelines, I can't. I have way too much information, and it's an internal conversation that is having with me to say, look, this is what it's saying, and I want to put that on the plate and offer it to the family so they can see, you know, what these 44s are saying, how they lining up. What the
Right,
conversation
right.
is to me is crystal clear, and I'm indebted to make that known. You know
Of
what I mean?
course, of course. And on your day, that day, that 4/4, it's only right that you're able to deliver it on your day. You know what I mean? A day
Yeah,
that I would say that you basically Christian as your own. Um, Thoughts about the conflict that's taking place in Eastern Europe. Do you have anything that you would like to add on?
well, I mean,
I'm sure
again,
that you're gonna dive
yeah,
into it and really unfold what it is that you've been researching during your lecture. But can you touch on it briefly for the
yeah,
family that's out there who
I'm,
may
I'm
be
definitely, I'm definitely gonna deep dive, into that topic during this presentation because it is a 44 war, as was the campaign before it. The C-19 campaign, that was a 44 war based on blood. This one is based on blood as well. So it's it's just a different level. But this one is very, very interesting because it incorporates 44, 144, 444, and by the time this lecture comes around, in the beginning of April, there's going to be a lot of activity, you know. So, I definitely look forward to sharing the information that needs to be shared. And yeah,
right.
and again, it's never about fear or doom and gloom. You know what I mean? It's like we're also going to be detailing and laying out ways to find peace in times of war because it's going to be necessary.
Right, right.
I mean, but it's as above, so below. And that's what the 44 really stands for. You know what I'm saying? Your foundation, you dig what I'm saying? The physical realm and the spiritual realm. That 360, that circle above you, that square beneath you, that circle above you, as above, so below. There's a spiritual war taking place. There's an inner war taking place. There's a war outside no man is safe from. So it's nothing that people need to cower from. You need to tower at this particular time and embrace that own inner war
Right.
that everybody's necessarily going through. And like they said, it was initiated in 2020 when you got put in the pressure box. You know, did you come out a diamond or did you come out a piece of coal? You feel me?
That's a question that everybody has to ask
Yeah,
themselves individually. What Blue just said, as a result of the pressure that 2020, 2021, and even 2022 represents, how many people can say, with their heads high, that they walked out of this, you know, with a diamond body and diamond hands and whatnot? Because, like we were saying a few weeks ago, when we were encouraging the audience to celebrate life and to pat themselves on the back and to basically look themselves in the mirror and be like, look, you won this battle.
right,
You're gonna win the war, but it's a battle at a time. And for those of us who were able to hold out, right? For those of us who are able to withstand temptation from family members, co-workers, and other loved ones and things of that nature. For those of us who are able to see through the propaganda, for those of us who were listening to a higher source, not just the news or the mainstream media or what you call authority figures. For those that were like, nah, I got a bigger authority figure, you know what I mean? And he don't wear a suit and tie and
I
whatnot. I
mean,
say
yeah,
salute to y'all.
and it's documented, and I clearly remember in April of 2020 wasn't long because March 11th or March 13th ain't too far away from April 4th. But we did a quantum meditation on April 4th, a global quantum
Global.
meditation.
What year was that?
And okay, it was to shut down C-19.
Right.
And the next day, well, that was on a Saturday going into a Sunday. But the next day, which was Monday, the CDC or the Surgeon General came out. He was like, yo, for the very first time, they turned the curve. That was the very
That,
first time that they saw a fluctuation or disturbance in the algorithm.
that's
And
a
then
fact.
they came out with the records of the Schumann resonance for that day, and they showed that the shit was off the Richter. Now, that's the power that the people have amongst themselves, unified as a quantum mind, focalized and crystallized on one intent, right? And everybody felt that frequency. It's the same. Let's talk about, you know, this particular lecture and the type of information that we'll be disseminating in the receipts that we're gonna bring that's gonna show that, this is unanimous at this point. You feel me?
Right.
It's like I said about the Super Bowl, what I said, I said this shit is about time, right? I said this whole observation and conversation is about time. I said this year is also very much so about, last year was about space, but it also was about time, right? Because remember the number they came up with time last year, because you're gonna see it repeated a lot this year, and that's 22.5. And niggas was like, yo, what that number mean? Remember when homie got the time for the for George Floyd?
Right. Derek
Chuck it.
Chavon.
Yeah, right. You got that 22.5. Watch that 22.5 keep popping up.
Right.
Right. So this is about time, right? They're playing with time. They're playing with time as a concept, and they're also running out of time. They're also out of time, right? So it's the ending of time and the beginning of a new time. All of these time junctions and time convergences and time crosses are taking place. You feel me?
Right.
And I said, what? I said, if the motherfucking Rams or the Aries win, right? If the LA wins, I said, then we would have an opportunity to align ourselves with astrological or natural time. And that, in effect, is going to disrupt and end artificial time, because this is the bowl of all ages. It's the biggest game, right?
Right.
And the Bengals represented Eastern time, or the Eastern Hemisphere by way of Asia, that being the Chinese New Year, and also Cincinnati being the home of where we would say Rome is. It's the city of seven hills, bliss, right? And a lot of other things. But all of that was packed in the East West versus the West East. And then we look at the team, the LA Rams, and I'm saying, what's their colors,
Yellow and blue.
right? And like, what does that even represent in nature? Because the color for spring is what? The color for spring is what?
Is it yellow?
It's yellow, right? Synonymous with the liver,
Right.
right? And blue is for the sky, yellow's for the sun. It's the
Facts.
colors in nature. And now you got everybody around. So I said, boom, I said, if the West win, then C-19 is going to be, it's going to be an end to it, right? We have shifted the focus, we control the narrative, and it's going this way. The next day, the articles came out and said that it was a wrap. But then the shit mysteriously pops up. But where does it pop up at?
China.
And where else was it popping up at before China? Because I got the articles.
Europe.
Ukraine specifically, and Russia,
Mm.
right? To the day almost, right? So these places where the losing team is at and that particular energy is manifesting, now they are deteriorating and in conflict. Almost like a deflection was made.
Hold on, real quick. I just want to add on. When they put the articles out the day after the Super Bowl, they said that the C-19 subsided, and they were pointing out the fact that it was a maskless Super Bowl. Nobody was wearing their mask. So they were like, we're seeing the downturn of it or the downside of it immediately the next day. But please continue.
Right. So many articles came out. Like I said, I got the receipts, all of them, because they came out. You feel me?
Right.
And then they rolled out all of the stooges afterwards, Obama, Hillary, all of these people now that they say, oh, now they still got it. And there's a new name for it. And the shit is popping up over here. And this niggas like, I don't care. Right? I don't care. You feel me?
Right.
So these people is raging in a war, and people right next door to them got a whole outbreak going on. But then refugees is moving left and right. I mean,
Right.
it's giving me scamdemic. It's giving me scamdemic.
My thing that I raised yesterday about the Ukraine was, if anybody that goes and do the research, which it's not even difficult to find that the far right took over the government in a coup d'etat. They ran the president up out of there, and the president ran to Vladimir Putin in 2014. And the population of the Ukraine has been radicalized, right? A large population, and not every single one of their citizens, of course, but a large portion of their population has been radicalized under national or nationality or nation, the principles that they were upholding going all the way back to Nazi Germany in World War II, right? And these radicalized citizens are now considered to be refugees, and they're allowing these citizens into different countries in the multitudes of 10,000 and more. America just accepted 100,000 Ukrainians to enter into the quote unquote fold. There's no talk about screening them. There's no conversations about their neo-Nazi ties. There's no talks about them being quote unquote in alignment with the Proud Boys and other quote unquote neo-Nazi organizations that are over here, because Steve Bannon and other people of interest were making Poland, Warsaw, and the Ukraine their quote unquote you know how you have dual citizenship? They were making it their dual citizenship to go over there and to put in the work, to put in that work, right? And to train and to tap into the resources that they had over here. So I find that very odd that they're beginning to disperse all of these sleeper cells into different countries. But yeah.
Like I said, this leads to the age of war, and all of that is just biblical. Like, these are those times it was written about. But I ain't gonna get too deep into that. We'll definitely be bringing the book of receipts, and we'll be laying out a beautiful visual uh,
Indeed.
demonstration, presentation, you know, and yeah. But like I said, the whole point of it all is to talk about how we find peace in times of war. and it's accessible, it's attainable, but you're gonna have to go to war with your lower self, your procrastination, your doubts, your fears. Especially your fears.
Right.
Feel me?
Right.
You know.
Indeed.
So yeah, so Ukraine is a country of 44 million inhabitants, and they're at war with a country with 144 million inhabitants. And Ukraine's president is 44 years old, and there's a million 44s that are running this algorithm, this narrative that has been put in place. And again, this is the heralding, the beginning of something that leads to a transformation of humanity ultimately. You know,
Right.
and some will emerge super sapiens, and others will emerge subsapien. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about the energy aspect of what this war represents. This is going down in history as a cryptocurrency war. This is going down in history as one of the first quote unquote Bitcoin wars that they're calling it. So, can you elaborate on what that means and the implications behind that?
Yes. This particular war is now establishing in real time a new use case for cryptocurrency as a war-based currency, at a time when there's embargoes and there's ways for people to crash currencies and block transactions and put tariffs and all sorts of things on people. There has to be a black market, a black economy, and cryptocurrency is allowing people a way to access funds, either in the overworld or the underworld, for various different activities. And also, when situations like this or opportunities like this arise, it also presents other opportunities for people to get in the mix and, expand their uses, if you will, giving it a whole nother quote unquote use case. So it's something that at this point will be very hard to ignore in regards to this newfound utility that it represents. Um,
Right. I saw an
because
article today.
yeah, it's gonna be very difficult, for people to move, um, different quote unquote assets in such a volatile world where they showing you what they snipers, they economic snipers, they cyber snipers is hitting for. You know what I mean?
Right.
you know, they shutting down access, they shutting down wallets, they curling in your back pocket. Feel me? So it's like, yeah, shit different.
Right. And I saw a report that said that Vladimir Putin was considering accepting Bitcoin for oil and things of that nature. There's also reports about the oligarchs, right?
Yeah.
And the oligarchs would be considered old world whales. They're the whales of the old world of
Right. Other first
petro
steps.
and
Right.
things of that nature. The new whales would be the holders of the assets, digital assets, and things of that nature. So the old, you're seeing reports of like there's oligarchs that are stranded in the airport. There are oligarchs that are getting their yachts blown up and taken down. There are oligarchs that are sitting on gold and all kind of fiat and whatnot, and they're not allowed to move around and things of that nature because of the sanctions that they say that they're putting on Russia,
Right.
right? So in just
Russia itself
those
is
stories,
a
because we
considerable
know what
stockpile.
proper, what'd you say?
I said Russia itself is sitting on a considerable stockpile of gold. They said about
Right, and that they cannot do
140
anything with.
billion. Yeah.
Right, as a result of these sanctions and things of that nature, they're sitting on precious metals,
Right.
and there's nothing that they can do with it. So once again, the use case for cryptocurrency is rising even higher, and the actual currency is rallying. It's going up. You know what I mean? It's rising up after.
it was 44. Today it was 44K, and of course, every time it's 44K, it gets articles written on it because cryptocurrency is a 44 resonator, and Bitcoin definitely is. So
Right.
I'll explain that as well. Why this is again, all of this stuff fits into the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is 44. All of these 44 motifs, all of these 44 configurations, this shit fits like Tetris. You know what I'm saying? And crypto
Facts.
is just another one of those components that fit into this puzzle.
Super facts. I'm even gonna bring my good brother in Cairo on so he could speak about that leading up to the workshop that we have on Sunday. I feel that the timing is
Definitely.
perfect. You know what I mean? The timing is perfect. This conversation and this information and just these solutions is something that we could all possibly utilize so we're not distracted by hyperbole, speculation, and all of the other things that the mainstream media and social media has perfected to get you far away from your bag, to get you out of your bag, to get you off your square, and to get you completely out of the way so they could do what it is that they do. So we have to begin to recalibrate our minds and just stand on something that's a little more, focused. And the solutions is where the focus is at. The information is where the focus is at. And, taking this information and taking a deep dive, like Blue was saying, taking the information and going and do your own research, opening up your own quote unquote tabs and deep diving and getting in that water and whatnot and getting in there and bringing something back that you could share with either your network or this network. You know, the USA stole the Silk Road going into World War II. I mean, all wars are basically about trade routes. Not all wars, but the majority of the wars are about currency. They're about trade routes.
Right.
This whole thing with the Ukraine, even with the Ukraine and Russia, there's aspects of
Disrupting.
trade that's tied into it.
They've disrupt global trade routes. They've disrupt global supply chains.
Right.
Right. They've disrupt global supply. Period. So it always affects. You know what I'm saying? It's either affecting the port, it's affecting a product. In this case, it's a little bit of both. So there's going to be
Facts.
a lot of global instability, and there'll be more of a draw or demand on scarce food resources in the next few months. By the time we get to the stomach, by the time we get to you know those signs that deal with those
Body
particular
parts.
needs of the
Right.
body, that's when it's going to intensify. You feel me?
Right.
So you know,
For those that may not be aware of it, the Ukraine is a humongous exporter of wheat.
hmm
Okay, gluten. They have majority of their country is farmland.
right,
Henceforth, you're going to see the inflation prices on all of these products go through the roof. Joe Biden, your president, who y'all voted for, just mentioned and put it out there that a food shortage is on the way. You know what I mean? They were utilized. They were playing with that throughout the months and things of that nature with the trucks and
right,
the strikes and all of these other things. So once again,
right. They already
being
gave it
able
a
to
dry
see
run.
ahead of
They gave it
ourselves.
a dry run with it, with the ships, the tankers, and all of that stuff,
Yeah,
and the bare knuckle shelves, butt ass naked shelves in these stores.
right,
So I'm like, you put an embargo on top of that, these empty ass shelves,
right.
bro, downsizing stores. You should see what they're doing at Target.
Oh nah, they
Everything's shrinking.
everything.
So I'm like, y'all can't
It's
see the price.
shrinking and the price is going
Yeah,
up.
y'all are looking at a rug pull.
The
You feel
biggest
me?
rug pull.
The biggest rug
So
pull. So if you are on a carpet at all, you need to figure out ways to get off the carpet and roll out your own. Grow your own food, sustain your own sustainable living. You know what I'm saying? Figure
right,
out it and tap into free energy, clean your water, get out of these people way.
right. Because to
People
be
way
honest with
you can.
you, that window has been wide open, letting in flies and mosquitoes and all kind of insects. That window was wide open from 2020 on. Shout out to everybody that got them PPP loans. The window was open. The opportunity presented itself. Let's not act like it did not. Let's not act like that even with the lockdown and all of the other things that were going on, the Mind Dem wasn't making big moves Pond Road, right? The Mind Dem was making big moves Pond Road. Land was getting purchased. Acres were getting secured. My nigga, Young Thug got acres. What you talking about? This nigga got an estate. Moneybag Yo got a fucking estate, nigga. Like, the knuckle draggers have options. So the opportunity been presented itself. Are we gonna find ourselves on defense, or are we gonna find ourselves on offense?
You ain't got the answers, man.
Who got the
You ain't got
answers?
the answers.
Who got them? Netflix? Who got the answers, genius? Are we going to be on offense or will we be on defense? That's the first question that needs to be asked because that determines how we going to be moving.
Mm-hmm.
So even though this is in like the fourth quarter with a few seconds, the minutes, the doomsday clock is still ticking and whatnot. The spring is here. So is the summertime. The opportunity to gather in groups of more than 10, the opportunity to form investment groups, the opportunity to seek and find Black farmers who can educate you in hyper speed as to what to do and where to invest, that is still here amongst us. None of us are too good to begin to, take our minds and our codependability off of these quote unquote box stores and these supermarkets with all of this food that really doesn't serve us any purpose in the fucking first place, to be honest with you. All of this processed and radiated food and whatnot that's not raising up our electric body. We really, we don't need that shit when you really think about it. So it may sound far-fetched when I'm saying it at this moment and whatnot, but we do have the opportunity and we got the resources and we got the numbers and we have the wherewithal and we have the mental fortitude to put some shit together so we don't have to be part of the beggar nation, because when the beggar nation, you're going to see how they're going to treat the beggar nation. You could already look around and tell how they've treated the beggar nation. People that walk around with signs that have subservient slogans to them. How have those people fared in society in the last decade?
How, Sway?
Let me know. Let me know. Because from what I've seen, they've been putting our people who tend to be subservient, passive, and groveling, right? They've placed them closest to chattel slavery than any other nationality on this planet. And they got people that come over here from shanty towns, my nigga, that live in mud huts and shanty towns that the river is a fucking sewer. And they don't even treat them the same. So just add that in there.
Yeah. But I gotta part ways, my good brother. I appreciate
Indeed.
the invite. Thank you for having me come through tonight.
Appreciate you for
Thank
pulling
you
up.
to everybody in the building, tapping in, hearing some of these thoughts. I have a full delivery, a full presentation. I don't want to lay it all out right here. You know what I mean? The time will be here for that on April 4th at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Standard. We going in.
Yes, we are.
Going in. I'm gonna lay it out.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man. I'll have you back on the show before 4-4 to let the fam know, to remind them. Keep doing what you're doing, good brother, and get your research on, because I know this one is going to be heavy.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Peace. All right, that was my twin brother, Blue Pillar. Like he said, he's cooking up another classic. So make sure y'all tap into that. The link is in the description, and it's also on www.ktluniversity.com. I have my good brother in Cairo in the building. I would love for him to pull up, you know what I'm saying, so we can have this conversation about these precious metals before I get up out of here and whatnot. Make sure y'all hit the like button. All of that fancy things. Hit the like button, hit the share button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button along with the bell and whatnot. Be a subscriber so you get notifications whenever we go live. You get notifications whenever, we upload something, and you get notifications for anything else that we're doing on this show. Did I see Nature Boy on Sonetta? Yeah, we're not going to talk about that right now. We're not going to have that conversation. Okay? It's a Friday. We're just going to let the week end. You know what I mean? We're going to let the week end. We're going to let this shit end on a good note. We're not going to go there. You feel me? Hold on 1 minute. Let me see something. The question is, did you see it? Did you see it? Sheesh. That's what, your fate. That's what for a lot of the brothers and sisters out there, that's where your fate will take you. You know what I mean? The art of discernment is extremely, it's almost a skill set. I know that you had to watch it twice. You know what I'm talking about? I know that you have to watch it twice, because those are the things that get your attention. It's not the information, and it's the sideshow, right? The sideshow will always, the accident, people will always bottleneck to watch the accident. Somehow, some way, with all of the insanity that people may say that certain people have, they know how to garner the attention of the people. And remember, it's the attention that's the economy right now. So please know that there's about 100 black women that want to go join the fucking sideshow just by watching that video. They don't have nothing else to live for. They're like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what I mean? It's World War III. You know what I mean? Henceforth the 3. Shit going upside down. You know what I mean? I'm out here looking for a king. You know what I'm saying? And there's people that feel like they found one. So these platforms are very important, because you're onboarding to the world a message and an idea and a concept and characters and things of that nature. And you have to be very discerning when you open up your platforms. You know what I mean? You have to be very discerning. You can't do it for just the views. You can't do it for the hype. There has to be purpose. Shout out to Black Magic 363 and the purpose that man stated earlier in this calendar year. He stayed on purpose. He set his intention. He set his intention, and he stands on that. And all of the shows reflect the intention that he told his audience that's what he was on this year. That he said, this is what I'm on for the fiscal year 2022. I'm on God body shit. I'm on helping people tap into their God bodies. And that's what he's been standing on with damn near every show that he's done ever since making that declaration. So my thing is this: these platforms have to make their declarations and stand on it. You know what I mean? And stand for something or fall for anything. So I just leave it at that. Okay. I just leave it at that. You know, but yeah, this upcoming live that we have is going to be monumental. This thing is going to be one for the record books. My good brother in Cairo. Oh yeah, shout out to the shout out. Hold on, let me go to a commercial real quick. If these, because the commercials was acting up a minute. Give me one second.
Greetings. I'm horologist in Carew. On the behalf, greetings,
But
greetings, family.
to play, but I wanted to play a commercial to let the ticket holders know that it's about 20 more of y'all. We up to 80. You know what I mean? The 100th ticket holder is going to win a $7,500 watch from this man. Okay? $7,500 watch is the prize or the reward for the 100th ticket holder. And y'all almost there. So I would highly suggest, if anybody is out there who wants to be rewarded for just being a ticket holder and you want to roll that dice, you should go ahead and make it happen. Make your next move your best move, because somebody is finna come up. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm excited to see who's going to win that watch. I'm excited to see who's going to win that watch. I already know. I already know. Whoever's going to get it, you deserved it. It was meant for you. So, you know, I don't even like to say good luck, but shit, good luck, my niggas. Like, yeah, tap in and really get it in. You know what I'm talking about? But you know, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. Give me 1 minute, y'all. Give me 1 minute. We're back in the building. We're back in the building. While I wait for my guests to pull up, I'm going to take questions from the audience. So if there are questions from the audience, please share them. If you have any questions in the audience, please ask your questions, and I will be very honored to answer them. Yeah, shout out to Vicky Dillard. You know what I'm talking about? I saw her show earlier. She was lit. She was going in. Shout out to Sister Myra. Shout out to Uncle Hank. Shout out to Rod Hayes, Brother Yosef. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to Pillar44, the legend, who just came through and did a monumental lecture on KTL University. This available right now for anybody who wants to view it. Shit is a classic. Everything that he talked about with the solar flares, everything that he talked about with the dielectric field and whatnot, you're seeing that shit. All of these articles are coming out immediately after the lecture. The sun is going crazy. The shit is exploding daily. I promise you. You know what I'm talking about? Them solar flares is real. Solar flares is real. Okay. Do you think silver and gold will go up? Time to sell or save? Does a bird fly? Does a fish swim? You damn right it's going up. And hell no, you hold. You don't sell a thing. This is about stacking. You don't hold. You don't sell the silver and the gold right now. That shit finna go all the way up, and I don't think that it's gonna come back down. Hold. Diamond hands. It's not a good time to sell at the moment. Oh, Wayne Chandler. How could I forget? The legend Wayne Chandler was on Black Magic 363 with the Qigong. He went all the way upstairs. If there's anybody in Atlanta that's in the show right now or the Georgia area that does Qigong, hit me on the email. Definitely hit me on the email. I got a few people that I know to tap in with that. But if anybody is out there and that's what you do and you want an opportunity, please hit me on the email. You know what I'm talking about? It's time to go to Stone Mountain and do the Qigong on a weekly basis. You know, with this war going on, depending on who wins, will it have an impact on how things move in this world? Yes, of course. You know, if Russia wins and takes Ukraine, that's going to shift the geopolitical stage. If Russia begins to lose and anybody decides that they want to bomb Russia, that will bring in China and other actors like Iran and Turkey, perhaps. So yeah, you know what I mean? This conflict, this is the theater of war. This is the theater of war. This is not war. This is the theater of war. Okay? This is the theater of war. So we have to be mindful that this is a stage and the stage has been set for certain things to do what they do. Nothing is done happenstance. There's no coincidences. So the stage is set. So this is the moving of the chess pieces. And, you know, we're never going to go back to what they call the old normal, the same way that people after 9/11 was like, I just want to go back to a world pre 9/11. Did that ever happen? Did that wish ever get fulfilled for anybody and whatnot? No, that never happened. They never turned back the clocks and went back to what it was. They didn't look behind them. They didn't look back and whatnot. That's the same thing that I would say going back. When I look at old pictures in 2019, the shit feel different, my nigga. I mean, to keep it a Buckington with you, the shift really started when Nipsey died in my personal life. This is my personal life that I can speak on. Nobody is walking the journey the way that I'm walking my journey. We all are walking individual paths. We all are stopping and getting drinks from different wells and things of that nature. You know, we're taking different exits on the highway, on the road to redemption and whatnot, on this highway to heaven. My shit shifted for me when Nipsey got killed, March 31st, 2019. I was on Instagram Live. I got word right in the live. I was like, let's pray for him. Let's send him energy. I got off the live. Then I got word back that he made his ascension and whatnot. Shit doesn't change. Shit doesn't change. And from 19, we pushed into 2020. And from there, it was no turning back. So we're never going back to what they call the normal. This is the new normal. Get used to it. Adjust. Do not be one of those people that are stuck and you're out of time and whatnot. Try your best to get in alignment and to adjust like chameleons adjust. Yeah, it was Nipsey and then Juice World. You seen that? The marathon continues. Yes, it does. Now look at LA. You know what I mean? Now look at LA. Who's the face of LA? Is it Crip Mac, my nigga? Who's the face of LA? Is it Whack 100? Ever since Nipsey made his transition, is it Y fucking G, my nigga? Like, look at the devolution that your state has gone through. He was the face. Nipsey was talking about onboarding millions of hood niggas into cryptocurrency. You could say what you want to say about cryptocurrency, whatever. I think the fact that people printing up currency, their own fucking currency, is revolutionary. It's evolutionary. The people like, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's not real. Nigga, the fiat is not real. What are you talking about? This whole shit ain't real. Niggas don't own no gold fucking bars. You don't own no gold mines. And shut the fuck. You stop that. None of this shit is real. The whole shit is a Ponzi scheme. So what are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you need to miss me with the bullshit because I ain't going for it. You feel me? I ain't going for it. The shit tangible. You could sell it for fiat and you could buy assets. Okay? You could do something with it, nigga. So Nipsey was not just onboarding people to crypto, he was onboarding them to the blockchain, to smart contracts. He was able to articulate a lot of things that took many of us many years to articulate to the masses. He had the opportunity to speak to millions, whereas some of us don't have the opportunity to speak to millions. He knew what he was talking about. He was the earliest adapter, one of the earliest adapters that I knew, who is representing California, L fucking A, who's the face of it, who's the voice of it, who's speaking to the hearts and the minds of black people globally, because remember, he's Eritrean and he's in America. He's an African American. He was bridging the gap and he wasn't dealing with division. Who's doing that on the rap side?
To this day.
That's how you can measure if you niggas took a loss or if you gained something, if there's liabilities taking place or if there's assets. Did you lose immensely or did you gain immensely? If you gained immensely, we don't die, we multiply. Where's the Nipseys out there? Don't talk to me about Kendrick. Shout out to Kendrick, but he's too much of a recluse for me to qualify, you know what I mean? The fact that he's the face and whatnot. No, the face is out there with the motherfucking people. The face is not a recluse. The face is not somebody who's just pops out every 5 years. The face could be seen on Crenshaw when I'm driving by. I ain't talking about people that's going Hollywood, that's in the hills and stuff like that. I'm talking about who's outside in the trenches with the people, is feeding the people and doing Christ-like shit. Talk to me, man. Nobody is saying nothing. And when I did the roll call, there was a whole bunch of you niggas from California. Nobody's saying nothing. Y'all niggas got Crip Mac, Custards. Y'all stuck with Crip Mac and fucking Blueface. Like, let's keep it 1,000. With Whack 100 hoarding over all you niggas. Like, that's where you at with it right now. You took a loss. You took a big loss. And nobody, and I feel like even with the politics, the gang politics or the hood politics, nobody even pressed the issue to be like, yo, if y'all niggas say that y'all love this man, if you really love Nipsey, you would carry on his work. You don't hear nothing about Vector 90 or Sector 90. You don't hear nothing about smart stores. You don't hear none of that. Keep it 55th. I see it 55th Street. Yep. On Crib. That's what we doing? On Crib. You niggas got, all right, you got Geechee Gotti. That's an asset. At least you niggas got Geechee Gotti and Little Slap. That's an asset. I could say
To this day. To this day.
But that's Compton. That ain't even what I'm talking about. Where's Roddy Ricch? I don't know. Where is he? They killed Drakeo. You know what I'm talking about? They went and bodied my guy. You know, that was my guy right there. They killed Drakeo. Like, what the fuck is going on out there, bro? It's gonna see all right. It's gonna see all right. You know what I mean? Like, Kobe gone. They killed Pop Smoke out there. Like, let's not even get into that. I don't even want to get in my West Coast bag right now. You know what I'm talking about? I don't even want to get in my West Coast bag, but they need somebody to fill these voids, because if the void is not filled, it becomes a killing field. When they take the leaders out, right? Even if you didn't identify them as a leader, right? Even if you didn't see their leadership potential, that's the messianic force that I speak of in Fear of a Black Messiah. Once they take out the messianic force, there's a vacuum. What does the vacuum lead to? The vacuum leads to homicide. The vacuum leads to young niggas going at it for routes, trade routes. The same way that America goes to war for trade routes, that's what the hood is going to war for. They want to be down with the Mexican. They want to get that trade route. They want to get the plug and whatnot. They want to get the corner. They want to get the block. They want to get the gas station. You know what I'm talking about? Certain other type of politics take over, because keep in mind, I'm sure that everybody in the gang wasn't happy that this nigga was keeping his foot on the neck of intellectualism and making it cool to be street, but also be intellectual, because everybody can't keep up with that. You could play dumb, but you can't play smart. I'm going to say that again. A wise man could play a fool, but a fool could never play a wise man. So I'm just hypothetically thinking that the majority of the gang members could never get on a level that a Nipsey was on. So they like, shit, I don't really want to push that motherfucking issue because I cannot excel in that world. I can excel in knuckle dragger shit. I can excel in dope dealing and pimping and going on motherfucking missions and whatnot. That's what I'm built for. I'm not built for intellectual prowess. I'm not a superior man. This nigga got a book list. Some of these niggas can't even pronounce that shit, and there's no judgment whatsoever. We just know where our people are on a mental plane and some of these hoods and whatnot, based off of the fact that they just outside like they in the streets. They serve a certain purpose. You don't have to have scholars when you got warriors that are out here to motherfucking go to war and whatnot. They're not required to. The scholarship that they have is on the war field. That's the scholarship. They're fucking intellects when it comes to going to war and killing shit and drilling shit. But when it comes to statehood and other things, being able to move in rooms full of vultures, being able to sit with billionaires and have an intellectual conversation and not scare the shit out of them, that's where Nipsey comes in. That's what qualifies him as a messianic leader amongst his peoples. So if you can't duplicate that, then you niggas is in trouble. Okay? You were in trouble. You need to be able to replace, or you need to be able to fill in that, because there's a vacuum right now. There's a humongous void. We have voids in our state of New York. There's voids in Atlanta. There's voids all over the place because they're taking our kings. They're taking the messianic ones up out of here. You know what I mean? They're taking the ones who could potentially wake up with a fucking answer and have the resources and the manpower and the testicular fortitude to make people motherfucking hop. They get hip to some shit and they can make niggas hop. That right there, my friends, is the most dangerous black man in America. You can call him a Moor, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah. That's what it's hitting for. You know what I mean? That's what it's hitting for.
Greetings.
Leaders.
Greetings.
The Messiahs amongst us. Stop taking us for granted. Please stop taking us for granted. You don't know how much you are losing as a collective in the long run when you don't value and when you don't protect, when you don't reward those amongst you who have been sent to you to do something, to make something happen, to spark the motherfucking divine spark in the motherfuckers who it needs to be sparked in. That is something that's not qualified for everybody to do. Please understand what I'm saying to you. It is a selected few. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. That is something that you just can't wake up one day and just be like, you know what? I'm going to just wash my face off and just go out here and spark niggas. You know what I mean? That's not something that everybody can do. You know what I'm talking about? It's really not. So, yes, the XXX Tentacions of the world, even a Pop Smoke, regardless of what people may say about, oh, he's a drill rapper, we're talking about a 20-year-old who had the opportunity to evolve. But if you could peep his algorithm, if you could read his signature, he was a leader. King Von, he had leadership qualities, right? Don't measure these men as to where they are when they died. You know what I mean? People are getting killed in their caterpillar phases. Mo 3 out of Texas, he had leadership qualities. Young Dolph, the fucking dolphin out of Memphis, he had leadership qualities, right? He had leadership qualities and he had a sharp mind. I was listening to him speak. He had a very sharp mind. He wasn't no dummy. You dig what I'm saying? Juice World, he was also an intellect, highly talented and whatnot. You feel me? I could go on for days. There's messianic ones that are leaving. There's a lot of people that are not messianic that be up out of here. I'm not speaking about them. I'm speaking about the messianic ones. Even Kobe had a messianic energy to him, and he had the opportunity to make something happen, right? Because he He even put out some children books that were very metaphysical, right? He was one of those anomalies that he could just wake up one day and just pop up with something, an invention. He could invest in something. He could be an angel investor, a VC, or whatnot. He would have been a big player in certain things because that's the type of person that he was. He was about philanthropy and some other things. Post the Cash App. The Cash App is Stream Chasers with a Z. Stream Chasers with a Z. Shout out to everybody sending the Cash Apps. I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? He turned down 22 million and got hit 22 times. Yeah, that 22 is powerful, y'all. Shit. That 22 is real. That 22 is real. Mo 3. What's the other? Drakeo was a ruler. Drakeo the ruler out of LA. Leadership qualities. Once these young brothers would have got cleaned up, because trapping ain't dead, niggas, but you can't trap forever. You can't be on knuckle dragger time forever. You can't be on demon time forever. That shit has to have an expiration date. These young artists, the only thing that's missing is big homie energy. They're not running into the right big homies. They're not running into the right people who could spark them and turn their brains on and turn their minds on and turn that computer on or give them that divine spark or show them the way. That's the only thing that's missing. You feel me? Yeah, Kyrie won. He won that battle and whatnot. He's a fucking legend. You know what I'm talking about? XXX Tentacion, he was a leader and he was getting very conscious. He went past woke. I seen the videos before he died. He surpassed woke. He was on his conscious shit. He was on his subconscious type of information. He was tapped the fuck in. He had the opportunity to lead a whole bunch of his generation to the promised land. Captain Steez, he had the opportunity to bring a whole bunch of his people to the promised land. Captain Steez was the creative genius behind Pro Era and Joey Badass, going all the way back into the days. He died in, I believe, 2012. Either he was pushed off or he jumped off of a roof. Yamborghini, ASAP Yams, he was another one who was almost like a Svengali for the ASAP crew and whatnot. He was the creative genius behind everything ASAP. That's why you don't see ASAP Rocky doing what he was doing when homie with the face, you know, Lamborghini was a Puerto Rican dude with the face mark. He had a mark on his face. He overdosed on the lean and whatnot, right? Even when Fredo Santana died, Fredo Santana, in my humble opinion, he was more of a Svengali behind Chief Keef and all of them and what they was doing. You dig what I'm saying? But going back to the messianic ones that I'm speaking about, or the messiahs, the black messiahs, the people who, when they leave, there's nothing to fill that void. They can't create another one of them. So you'll begin to see the creativity, or you'll begin to see the quote unquote, you know, you see things begin to wither away in those circles and whatnot. They're not able to give out the same type of output. They're not able to become, they're not able to tap into, to disrupt fashion and do things like that and whatnot, because the people who were the quote unquote coaches, right? You have a fucking team, but then you got coaches. The coaches are not working. The coaches ain't even there. So that's the same thing that you seen in Chicago when they took Larry Hoover and Jeff Ford about the scene and whatnot. They took the fucking coaches off of the scene, and now the players are running wild, bodying shit and everything. They showed you that in The Wire. They showed you that so many times. Gangland, every episode of Gangland showed you that street crews or street organizations got infiltrated by the federal government, who J. Edgar Hoover gave them the directive from day one to take out the black messiahs. So when they say the feds did a sweep, when the feds identify messianic people in those drug crews or messianic people in those street organizations, like Rod Diggs out of New York, who they gave an asshole full of time because he was wild militant. Even with Roddy Rebel in them with Bobby Shmurda and G9 and whatnot. They was somewhat getting on some street rebellious shit, and they gave him an asshole full of time. it's been going on since time immemorial. Big Meech, he had a very militant mind. He was talking that shit on them Smack DVDs, and they took his ass down. You gotta get up out of here. You educating these niggas. You becoming a coach. You becoming a coach. So you cannot be a coach in a place where these people are controlling the quote unquote bodies running through their prison systems, running through their agencies and whatnot. They're the ones that are manipulating and controlling their property. So they're like, nah, we're going to identify. Remember, Federal Bureau of Investigation, this is surveillance and whatnot. So they wiretapping niggas, they're listening in and whatnot. They be like, oh, nah, they talking that militant shit, smack them. Smack them. The only niggas that they let in these streets is groveling ass knuckle draggers. That's who they letting roam around. Those are the people on the pay list, or those are the people that the feds have on payroll in them towns that you niggas are in. They letting the complete knuckle draggers, the pork eaters. You know what I mean? They're letting them roam free, but they're taking down the people who have these type of minds. That's why the federal jails is like fucking college and whatnot. That's where the intellects are. You know what I'm talking about? That's why when somebody get locked up, they be like, yeah, I went to college, nigga, because I came out sharper. I came out super sharp because I was in there with some geniuses. Geniuses. So you see it all of the times. They keep running the play. Protect the messiahs by any fucking means necessary. Protect the messiahs or they're going to stop showing up to you niggas. You know what I mean? And you'll just be left with the knuckle draggers and the savages and shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what it is. You only going to get what you deserve. That's all you're going to get, what you deserve. So if you don't protect your thought leaders, or if you don't protect the messianic ones, or if you can't identify, even if a nigga is in the mud and he's dirty and whatnot, and he got dirty hands and he's rolling in the mud with the pigs, you could still detect this nigga is different. We have to protect him. Let that person evolve. They're going through their hero's journey. That's something that you can't stop. You just gotta be there for them. You have to, you gotta be there for them along the way and whatnot on their hero's journey as they evolve and as they turn into the gods and whatnot, or the kings, or the motherfucking leaders that they were born to be. You know? Oh yeah, Tupac would be the prototype. He would be the prototype of the messianic ones. He would be the prototype until we find a new prototype, but he identifies and qualifies as this generation's prototype of what it is that I'm talking about. So, with that being said, I'm not going to hold everybody for the rest of the night. I guess I'm going to have to come on tomorrow with my good brother Steven because I don't see him. He was here earlier, but I got to keep in mind that Brazil is on a different time zone. So that might have just messed up with his schedule and shit. But with that being said, don't allow that to discourage you in any ways. Go and get your tickets. You will see the brother on Sunday. You know what I mean? And just know that the information that he's going to be bringing is definitely some shit that you ain't hear before. We're not just going to get up there and talk about precious metals. We're going to get into the metaphysics of the precious metals. We're going to talk about trading the metals. We're going to talk about making a bank, how collectively we could form these banks. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter your tax bracket. None of that matters, right? He's also going to introduce you to the equity program that he has. When you buy the jewelry from him, you're able to borrow against the jewelry. He has an equity program, an equity card, a whole bunch of things. It's a full workshop. KTL University presents the power of precious metals. Okay. 7 steps to building wealth with precious metals, featuring our good
To
brother
this day.
in Cairo
To this day.
on KTLUniversity.com. Okay. On KTLUniversity.com. Am I opening up the lines tonight? Should I? Should I? I probably will do that on a Monday show. You feel me? I probably will do that on a Monday show. It's kind of late right now. I'm gonna let I don't want the show to go into like 3 hours and 4 hours right now and shit. We did Blue Pill came through and he laid out what he needed to lay out. I talk my shit, you know what I mean? I think that's good enough. You know what I'm talking about? And we'll come back and I will do an open line for everybody to tap into and y'all be able to get up here and talk your shit, you know what I mean? Because that's very important as well. I want to hear from the audience. I do want to hear from the audience. That is important. So yeah, we'll do that on Melanin Monday. We'll do that on Melanin Monday. Okay. All right. So thank you. Thank everybody for pulling up. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Even though I don't know you personally, I could feel your energy. You know what I mean? I could feel your determination to learn and to tap in and to better yourselves and to edify yourselves. The weekend is here. We call it strong end. Do something great. You know what I mean? Do some great shit. You know what I mean? Make some things happen. Pull up to class. I want to see y'all in a Sunday morning. I might even get on my church shit. I might even dress up like I'm going to church. Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. That part. Somebody said chill with fasting talk. You mean chill with fast talking or chill with the fasting talk? Because I'm not fasting. Oh, when we fasting again? Yo, think about this. Because that fast, that shit did something. It rattled me to the core in a good way. But I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to dedicate 2 days out of the quote unquote strong. I don't like to call it the weak. I'm going to dedicate 2 days out of the strong to just fast forever. Like, I'm staying on that shit. I'm staying on that. You know what I'm talking about? That thing that did a lot for me. You know what I mean? It gave me some clarity, but it wasn't easy. It was not easy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Shit wasn't easy at all, bro. I didn't know I had so many voices in my head. But I sat down with my good brother Malik, who's I'm gonna bring him on the show. He's cold with the cards, with the cardology. So he basically was like, the day that I was born is the beginning of my strong. And that's a Friday. So he was like, on your Friday, you have your Mercury, you have your Mars, but he was like, the day that you was born is the beginning of your week or your strong. So he was like, what day you was born? Friday? All right, that's the beginning of your strong. And Fridays have always been magical for me. When we had the Blog Talk radio show, No to Ledge Radio, it was Tuesdays and it was Fridays, right? It was Tuesdays and it was Fridays. So Friday was always a powerful communication day. We had some of our classic shows on Friday. It always works for me. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, if I start fasting from Friday to Sunday, right? Usually on those days, that's when people really like, that's when you need the most discipline, because that's when people go ham. That's when you let it all out. That's when you let that shit hang. So I'm really contemplating implementing a 2-day fast for the rest of this summer on those days. You know what I mean? Just to get me right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to get through all of because that shit slims you up. And the energy, bro, my goodness, my energy my tank was on E. I was with $9 gas, my nigga. I was on E. Like, I was really, that water didn't, they be like, drink water. I'm like, what that's supposed to do? That water wasn't doing it for me. You know what I mean? But I need to do it. You know what I mean? I need to do it. The clarity that I had, I just can't be moving around too much and shit. I have to be real, like, I was playing that jazz and shit. I was playing jazz music. I was setting the tone. I had the aromatherapy working for me. You feel me? I was taking showers. I was getting my shower on. so the environment and everything have to be right. But it's something that I'm on my God body shit. Like I'm grounding, you know what I mean? And then summertime, think about it, like you go into nature, you might be grounding, you know what I mean? You go swimming in the ocean, all of that shit is at play. So yeah, mine like red pill. I'll keep y'all updated on that. But I'm really contemplating. I'm gonna meditate on that tonight and I'll get back to you. You dig? Yeah, Ramadan is coming up as well. So if you this is my suggestion. Because there's people that even when you mention they have such an aversion to religion that it triggers them and whatnot. But even if you don't identify the Islamic faith, if you want to challenge yourself, if you want to put yourself in a frequency that's heavily disciplined and it's been proven that you can manifest some powerful things during this time, I would say go and do Ramadan. That's something that I might do my damn self because they like you can't eat all day until sunset, but then you praying, you reading, you meditating, you tapping in. And I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. When I practiced Ramadan, I was a fully functional Muslim in 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994. That shit did wonders for me. I was a sophisticated savage though, because I was still outside. I was still in the streets. It was me and AA, but that shit did wonders. That was one of my mystical periods in time that I could always go back to because I was on some mystical shit. I was on some Sufism back then. So think about it. Think about it. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody once again for your attendance and for your time. For my ticket holders, I will see you on Sunday. Love and light to everybody that pulled up. Once, like I said, put some points up Saturday and Sunday, and do some things. Enjoy your spring weather. You know what I mean? Stay dangerous and stay out the way. All right. Love and light. Peace.